Hi there, guys. Hope you can all hear me okay. Give me a little thumbs up. Sorry about the confusion there. I think when Andrew jumped off, I jumped on right afterwards, or I gave it about a minute, and it wasn't quite long enough. So sorry about that. I'm just going to give it maybe a minute here to catch up, because I think sometimes they play the little ad and there might be a delay. Okay, good. Getting a bunch of thumbs up. All right. Andrew has so many great points. You know, it's one of those things. I love trading, but I haven't been down the road that he's on. So it's sort of cool to hear all those things. So, hi guys and gals. Really nice to be here this morning. So, I just want to give you a really quick overview here. As a lot of you know, I'm a doctor and I see patients every day. And today is one of those days. You know, I have a booked full schedule of patients. And this is usually the time where I come into the markets and I do my trading, and I review the markets and do my thing. And this is sort of the schedule that I have, so it works out really, really nicely. But as soon as I'm done here, I'll be on with the day and seeing my patients, and it's another day. So I wanted to tell you that Andrew does a really good job. Obviously, he's got a lot of passion for the markets, a lot of experience, a lot of years, and I've been around the Forex markets as well for about 10 years or so now. But the reason that we're here in this free room is just to share ideas with you, share thoughts with you, and to let you know that we really do care. Excuse me. You can probably tell that Andrew and I are very passionate traders, as well as the other streamers that have been here for a long time. And once we get things going through this 10 days of structure, as you can say here, day 3, why Forex traders fail. I think Andrew's going to touch on this in a couple of days as well. But once we get through this, it's really going to be all about you guys and trading and sharing ideas and looking at the charts and taking action and talking about buying the dollar yen or the dollar index and trading the Australian dollar. So we just have these few days getting to know each other and sharing ideas along the way. So what I'm going to do now is just go over these slides. I just got a couple of them here. It's going to be fairly quick today. I just want to have you either maybe save this YouTube video. You can find it in the previous streams, or screenshot some of these things, because if you can avoid these points, these issues I'm going to talk about, you really have a lot better chance of success in the Forex market. I probably, looking at my own trading history and the people that I've traded with over the last, many years, almost 10 years now, I think that whenever we have not just a losing trade, but a session of losers, or a week of losers, or a drawdown that really is getting tough to get out of, almost always some of these points are the reason why. So if you can learn them now before you spend all the money like we have and have losing months and that kind of thing, some of this stuff will really help you out. So I'm going to get right into the information here. So I'm a very optimistic guy. Some of you that know me will agree. I'm very positive. I'd like to be an optimist, but not a fool, right? You don't want to be totally foolish and blind, but you want to be, I do. I like to be optimistic. Some people aren't. That's okay. But this is about failing. So that's just the way it is. But it's, from my point of view, it's the way to help you to not fail. So I think looking failure and fear in the eyes is the best way to avoid it on your own. So here we go. Let's get started. One of the number one reasons that traders fail is over leveraging their accounts. And I'm sure most of you who are alive have been there. I've been there many times. And, the leverage that we get in the Forex market, 100 to 1, 500 to 1, 1,000 to 1 with some of the brokers, even the 50 to 1 that we get here in the USA can be more than what we really need. A lot of these points I'm going to cover are my own ideas. Some of them are from other YouTubers and other Facebook posts and things. So if you heard a couple of these before, it's nothing proprietary. But over leveraging the account is big. I heard in a video recently, which was a really good point, and they said you don't want to have emotion with winners or losers. I mean, if you win, you think, okay, good, I got a winner. If you lose, you think, okay, I had a loser. Let's look at why. Let's move on. But you don't want to be staying up all night watching a trade because you can't sleep because you're risking your next month's mortgage or rent on it, right? So over leveraging their accounts. My idea is a 0.5%, a 1/4%, maybe 1% risk per trade, something like that. And we'll get into that more next week. Next week's where we're going to get to the brass tacks, you guys and gals. So just bear with me here through the psychology part, because if you don't have this stuff, the technical analysis and everything else that you know about trading isn't going to work. So, all right, I just looked at the chat here. Yeah, thanks, David. It's good to know that it's working in live here, because I was a little concerned about that. Number 2, early profit taking. I told a story yesterday about one of my trading friends who was sort of crippled by his fear. He would always hit a stop loss on losers, but almost never get to the profit level on his winners, because you'd see that money sitting on the table. You'd see those profits sitting there and you want to grab it right away. So early profit taking is sort of one of those little hidden things that sometimes traders do. And if they're a good trader, they might be taking lots of little profits and doing well and even seeing their accounts grow. But over time, it's really not the way to go, because what you're going to see is, like Andrew mentioned, I think he mentioned 50-50 winners, but you got a 2-to-1 risk. So you're going to be in profit most times. Most of the traders that I know, they win 50% of the time. Some get up to 60. The good lucky ones, short term, maybe get up to 70 or 80%. But you don't have to win all the time to make money in Forex, as long as you control the risk. So the risk to reward is very, very big. And my strategy, like Andrew keeps saying, don't take this as the holy grail, but my strategy is to add to winners, and I don't add to losers. And that really helped me in my trading. So if you have a trade it's in your favor, and let's say you're looking for 50 pips profit, whatever it might be for you, whether it's $10 or $20,000, if you take the profits off early and you think, oh, great, I won some money, I made some money, I traded well today, I'm a good trader, just remember that over time, it's hard to be profitable doing that. So you got to let it go to your profits, or at least adjust your stops as you get into profits. Number 3 is blindly following others. So I talked about this a little bit yesterday. When you're on the internet, you look up Forex trading, 90-some% of the stuff is people trying to sell you things, scams, brokers giving you all sorts of incentives and deposit bonuses. Not that that's bad. I think that's a good thing, but you have to understand, did you guys know that a lot of those deposit bonuses, you probably learned this as time went on, but you don't even really get that money. It's just basically doubling your leverage. And it's sort of frustrating, but just make sure you read the details. Going in the forums, you can see people who do demo accounts. They take on, say they put a huge trade on the euro dollar and they buy it in the demo account and then they sell it in a different demo account and they make 5 times their account balance, and then they delete the other demo account and show everybody the winner. I mean, you can fake things so easily now, especially with Photoshop and secret statements and things. So I always like to use third-party websites. Like my FX book is great, totally transparent. That's what the guys over at Forex Signals and Think Huge use, and that's the way to do it. So always look at a third party. Don't get too caught up in the hype and the next sort of flashy gimmick out there. A lot of things are good, but you have to take it all in and go from there. So be cautious of who you follow. Unless you know them, you trust them, you see their track records. Other than that, it's all just gathering data. And that's what we've done over these 10 years and more for some of the traders here. We've done it. We've gathered the data. We've sorted through things. And when we get into the premium room, we're going to be coming on more throughout the day, talking about trades, talking about the good and the bad. And number 4, extreme goals or lack of structure or system. So if your goal is to turn a $100 or $1,000 account into a $10,000 or $100,000 account in a month, that's called an extreme goal, right? And like Andrew said, he said something really powerful on his stream. Now, I didn't hear all of it because I was trying to get set up here, but he said he's never going to be getting a margin call or blowing an account. That won't happen to him. So when he places a trade, he's doing it based on his system, his structure, and he doesn't lose sleep if he's got a trade that's going against him, because that's just the way the market is. Some you're going to win, some you're going to lose. But you have to have some kind of structure and system that you can repeat and build upon. And then you gain your own confidence and you start to build your account. Next one is improper psychology. We're going to talk about psychology again a little bit more next week, but you have to have the mindset. And I'm going to hit on this on the next page, but fear and greed, if you're losing, you have fear, you want to quit, you want to give up. If you're winning, you think, man, this is so easy. I'm on top of the world, right? And I can do this and change my whole life. I can become debt free. I can go on the beach, get the Lamborghinis, Maseratis, the big house, all that stuff. The psychology of a professional trader is that they have learned what works. They know what doesn't work. They know what their percentages are, whether it's 51% winner, 50% winner, 60% of the time winner, whatever it is. And they control their risk. They have the mindset that every time they get into the market, they know where they're at, they know what's going on, and they take their trade. Some win, some lose. And what I encourage you to do is, even in this chat room here too, over the years, I've been in here for 3.5 years now, off and on, and you try not to judge people if they have a really good week or a really bad week, and calling names and that kind of stuff just makes more stress. I mean, we're all here as a family to help people out. So again, I'm a very optimistic guy, but this is a sort of negative topic about why traders fail. And greed and fear, we talked about that a little bit again. It's so hard. I've been there. And if you've been there, maybe give it a little thumbs up or a smiley face in the chat here. Like Andrew mentioned, this next week, we're going to start getting more involved with the chat. But it's really sort of interesting to me, because if you're a trader and you trade live, you've been there, or you are there right now. Maybe today you're right there. It's if you win, it's hard to not want to go bigger, right? Let's say you have 5 winning trades in a row, 10 winning trades in a row. Yeah, you've been there. Yeah, it's funny. It's true, because if you're winning and it's working, it's so easy. I mean, you click the button and you're making hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, whatever it is for you. Oh my gosh, by the end of the week, all my bills are paid, right? So you got to be able to control that, because you build, and then it's gone. I mean, that's been the thing I've heard from most traders over the years with the different sites and videos I've done for people in the past, is that you build it, you get the confidence, you have 3, 4, 5 days, a whole week where things are just going great. And then one monster trade, you start adding into it, and the thing just collapses. Now, we're going to have things like the Swiss, the unpegging of the Swiss franc. We're going to have things like Brexit. We're going to have things like the Trump surprise win in the election. That stuff you have to be able to control. And that's where you can make a ton of money in a few hours. But that's where a professional trader might say, hey, I'm staying out until this is done. I'm not going to have the mindset of what I missed. I'm going to have the mindset of what I could have lost, because I've been there. So my goal today is to get you to not be too obsessed with what you missed and just focus on where you are. So tomorrow I'm going to be talking about the business of trading, and the how you want to just preserve capital is key. So next is not understanding this is a zero-sum game. Look, some of you in this room might not even know this right now, but trading Forex is a zero-sum game. And what that means is, for every person that wins, there's somebody or some account that loses. That's what makes the markets move. So right now, if I'm looking at, let's say, the dollar yen, it's at 109.25, 24. When it goes up 1 pip higher, somebody's winning and somebody's losing. So it's always a zero-sum game. The thing that's exciting about Forex, and the way that I talked about yesterday about stacking the deck in our favor, is we can use the things that most traders and most institutional banks and companies use to trade, such as support and resistance and Fibonacci levels and different indicators, oscillators, psychological levels, trend lines, those types of things that you've all probably heard of, or maybe the newbies haven't, but the real common, easy stuff, because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If all the traders and companies use a certain support level, or we see a pair break out, people are either going to be buying or selling at that level. So you expect to see volatility. That means if you're going to put on a trade there, you might have to have a little bigger stops or a smaller order. So understand that Forex is a zero-sum game. And for every pip that goes up, somebody wins and somebody loses. And when the market starts to get uneven, where there's more people winning or more people losing, that's when the price goes up or down. So getting on the trend is the way to make riches, right? You get on the trend, you let the thing go. But Forex markets aren't trending all the time. So you have to be cautious, and that's what we're going to go over in the premium room. Brokerage firms and scams. So this is a whole topic. This is probably one of my most passionate topics, being a U.S. resident. if you're in the US and you watched my video yesterday, you know my feelings about this, and maybe it will change this next year. I'm not sure with the Dodd-Frank or Frank-Dodd Act, but we get penalized. We don't get the leverage. We don't get to use hedging. We have to do first in, first out, or FIFO rules here in the US. But if we go offshore or anywhere in the world, then we can do whatever we want, just like everybody else. But US clients are basically blacklisted around the world, sort of like if you lived in Iran or North Korea or some other country like that. They don't want us because there's all these lawsuits and things. So brokerage firms, though, you may have heard the term bucket shops, and I'll do the air quote thing. Bucket shops are brokers that open up, and they know that 90, 95, 97% of Forex traders fail. So their whole mentality is, hey, put in your $1,000 or whatever you put in your account to start out, and we're 90-some% sure you're going to lose it. So it's basically like a video game. You're clicking buy and sell, your account's going up or down, and they just take your money because they know most of the time they're going to get it. I mean, if you think of it from a business model, not ethically or morally, but it's a great thing. I mean, people put money in, they lose it, you take their money, and they just think they're bad traders. But when you get people who start to win, then you got to pay them out, right? So you want to use brokers that are regulated and licensed. You want to use brokers that have been around for a while. You want to stay away from the new startups, that type of thing. And the brokerages that they use here at forexsignals.com are all great. You can see them in the trusted broker section. And FX Choice is the one that they use for US clients right now. And just a word to the wise for US clients, if you haven't heard this before, if you use a broker that's not in the US and then they eventually close to US clients, which is what happened to me many, many times over the years, you don't lose your money. You just get to withdraw your money, and then the broker keeps going with everybody else. But the scams in the marketplace, I mean, get rich quick, make 1,000 pips a day every day for the rest of your life, copy my trades, put this expert advisor on your chart and just pay us our money and let it go. That's the stuff you have to watch out for. So be very aware of looking for that holy grail and jumping around. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. I hope this is interesting for everybody. I don't want to get too off topic here, but what we like to do is trade and look at charts and look at the markets and help people get more successful. And this is sort of like the bedrock, sort of like building the house on the cobblestone or marble slab. And then the house up above is all the trading results. So this is stuff you have to know. And if you want to treat Forex like it's a hobby, or treat it like something you want to see how I do in this type of thing and just sort of test it out, and if it goes good, I'll stay, and if it doesn't, I'll quit, then it's not going to work. I mean, you can be lucky. You can make a lot of money being lucky in Forex. And if you play your cards right, you can still come out ahead. But to have to do it over and over and over again, you got to treat it like a business. Real businesses have real expenses, and they take time, they take effort, just like myself. I mean, think about this. I have all these years of school, all these college degrees. I got 17, 18 patients booked today, and I'm here putting in the time because that's what you have to do. And I'm not big into all the karma stuff, but I mean, if you put in the time, it works. You're going to have failures, you're going to have successes, but it's going to work out for you. You just can't give up. Take your time. If you're losing money, go back to demo or go down a train, a penny, a pip, whatever it is. Just stick with it because it does work and you can make it work. This one, number 5 here, is thinking it's too easy and focus only on getting rich. If you type in Forex on Google or Bing or Yahoo or any other search engine, MSN, whatever it is, it's all about fast cars, living on the beach, trading remotely from any beach in the world and being totally free. And those goals are great because you got to have goals, right? My goal personally isn't to be rich and wealthy and have fancy things. My goal is to have time and have freedom and be able to have my bills paid, but have time to go where I want to go, do what I want to do, hang out with who I want to hang out with. If I want to trade for a while, I do. If I don't, I don't. And like everything else in life, if you have to do it every single day, all the time, it gets to be not as enjoyable, right? So you have to be able to take breaks, and Forex is one of those things where you're truly working for yourself. I mean, Forex is probably, aside from groups like this, Forex is probably one of the most boring businesses you can have. I mean, I'm sitting here with 4 monitors and light shining and different things going, but aside from Skype and chat, I'm by myself here. So I don't mind that, and I've done it that way, but it is much easier with other people because you just can't see it all. Getting feedback from other people is important. Having this group, the support team here is huge. You can't even imagine. If you're new watching this video, you can't even imagine how much money and time you're going to save by just learning from people who've been there, real world people, not the people trying to sell you some $5,000 course or workshop, but just people who are here. And even in the premium room, which is going to start, I think, in a week and a half, it's free. You just have to open an account with one of their brokers and you're in there. It doesn't cost you anything extra. So that's the kind of people and the kind of environment you want to be in. Let me click on the next one here. And this is the last slide. So I'm just about finishing up. Let's see how much time we have here. It's been about 20 minutes or so. I was a little bit behind with, Andrew and I switching over, which was totally fine. Trading untested systems and lack of odds in their favor. So I sort of touched on this before, but you might have a moving average cross system. You might have a Bollinger Band system. You might have a support and resistance system. Maybe you have a few things that you put together. Maybe one's on a large time frame, one's for scalping or getting out and in and out of the market. But if you don't back test, if you haven't seen results from other people using the exact same thing, or you haven't back tested the system itself, you're not going to come ahead. You have to have something that at least works the majority of the time. You got to have the odds in your favor. So when I put this on the list of why Forex traders fail, so many people jump from thing to thing. They try something, it works 2-3 weeks in a row. They're like, man, I'm going to hit it out of the park. And maybe they go bigger in their trade, maybe not, but they keep using that same thing and then it loses for a month straight. So what do you do? I mean, what does common sense tell you to do in life if that happens? You drop it, right? You go to something else. They go to something else that starts working, then that one fails. They look back at what they had before and then that one's better than ever before. So the point is you got to back test. You have to have the odds in your favor. You have to know things that work most of the time. If they don't work, you have to know why they're not working. And then you move on and you share with us and you ask questions and we try things and we test things out. And over time, you become a professional trader, full-time, part-time, whatever you like. Chasing losses. This is another funny one because I think about all the money that was spent and lost doing this from me and my colleagues. So let me take a look at this chat over here just for a second. I would love it if you're watching this video, give me a little mark in the chat room if you've ever chased losses before. And what that means is you have had a trade that went down against you, maybe halfway to your stop, let's say, for example. And then you added more. Maybe you moved your stop down a little bit, maybe not, or you added more. Or let's say you lost 5% of your trading account, and usually you only risk 0.5%. So the next trade, instead of doing 0.5%, you bumped it up to 1% or 5%, and then it just exponentially blows, right? I mean, this is really, this is huge. Don't ever chase your losses. If you're emotionally charged, yeah, it's funny. Says, oh yes, when paranoia kicks in. Yeah, that's true. It's true. And you don't get the paranoia on a demo account. And that's why in my last video I said, learn on demo, but get a live account as soon as you can, even if it's just for a penny. So you have some kind of commitment in there. And you can see how the market works differently. But don't chase your losses. It's really hard though, because you can have a great trade setup. Maybe there's some news release coming out and you can get all of your losses back and then some. And it's hard to be motivated to learn how to trade Forex when you're in a drawdown. Let's say you're down 20% on your account, right? Let's just imagine. And you're grinding it out every day. You're watching the chats. You're in the forums. You're learning. You're trying trades. But every trade's 0.5%. It takes you so many times to win to get back to zero that you just give up and you say, I'm going to go big or get out. Maybe this isn't for me, you know? I mean, I know that happens all the time to almost everybody. So this is why I'm trying to share with you. Put it right in your face on your screen right here today. Don't do it. Because it might work, you might get lucky, but if you want to be a professional trader, you can't do it. That's just the way it is. And again, I'm usually a very optimistic guy, so bear with me. Constantly searching for the next best system. And I talked about that already. You know, looking for the, what do they call it? Shining item syndrome or something like that, where you're always looking for the next best thing. I mean, if you're a trader who's doing a good job and you're at your charts, a lot of the time you're sitting here, there's not much to do. I mean, like looking at the dollar yen, for example, it's jumped around within 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 pips the last half hour. So what do? You go online, you look on things, you go on Facebook, you watch YouTube videos, you look for the next system, you think, oh, this one looks really good. Look at their track record. Here's a bunch of videos for all these people who are making millions. Man, I want to have things like that. And then you say, well, maybe I'll just test it. Then you get into something else, but then you lose track of your big goal. So you don't want to do that. You want to just learn, focus, and stay with what you have. And then I have 2 more for you here, guys and gals. Quitting after realizing how hard it can be. Look, there's a reason that most people that you personally know are not full-time Forex traders or rich from trading. Now, we're in a sort of special environment here because you already found this site, you're already in this room, you're already signed up, you're already in the chat, you have a live account maybe or a demo or something like that. So this is definitely like our controlled little environment. But if you go out in the real world, you go to a restaurant, you go to work, do your thing, how many people do you actually know personally in your circle of family and friends that trade full-time? Not many. I know I don't. I mean, I have a lot of friends and family, and most of them don't even know what Forex is after all these years of me doing this stuff. So quitting after realizing how hard it can be a big reason that Forex traders fail. And it's not that it's hard to click the button. It's hard to have the system to follow and the support group there for you when you're not winning. So, and that's what we're here to help you with. And then the last one, no passion for the markets. Look, I feel like these points, I mean, they almost give me goosebumps, these points. And I'm talking down because I got my mic here. I want to make sure you can hear me good. But if you don't have a passion for the markets, if you're not passionate about Forex trading, maybe it's not for you. Maybe you should be doing stocks or futures or something else, you know. But with Forex trading, most of the people here that trade Forex, we also look at silver and gold and different things like that. But the Forex markets, if you're not passionate about that, you know, I think of it almost like a puzzle. Like I'm trying to solve this puzzle. I'm trying to look at the world and read the news and try to sort of predict where I think things are going to be from a fundamental side, which we'll talk about next week, versus the technical side. And that's when trading really becomes an art. It's crazy. You can have 100 traders. And I know you know this. I know that if you're watching this, I know you know this. 100 traders looking at the dollar yen, and you'll have 100 different ideas and reasons why it should do what it's going to do. Some people will say, oh, because Trump got elected, this is going to happen. Or, oh, the stocks are going down. It's going to go down because it's, risk on or risk off or whatever it might be. Or you could say, oh, this is a big level right here. I think it's overbought. This thing's been going up too high. Or, oh my gosh, I'm going to try to just get 10 pips and scalp it, selling it, even though it's in an uptrend. You get so many ideas. And if you don't have a passion for that type of thing, trying to work through it, trying to be able to just grind out the time of learning, it's just not going to work, because you're going to win and you're going to lose, and eventually you're going to end up losing. And you got to be able to stick around if you want to become a full-time or professional trader who wins most of the time. The real good traders, let me tell you a little story about this, because I know a bunch of them. The really good traders, the ones that make the big money, that aren't trading as a job for, companies managing somebody else's millions or billions, but the real good traders who do it on their own, you don't see them very often. And you know why? Because they have it figured out and they're doing it. They don't want to be distracted with different people talking to them and giving them ideas. They got their system. So what you see online when you talk with people is either people who are going to sell things to you or have something to gain from you. Or you see people who are complaining and calling everything a scam. You go in the forums and they say, oh, I didn't get my fill at this point. This broker is a scam. And they didn't respond for 2 days. And they said I'm going to get my money, but it's been a week now, and give you a 1-star rating in these groups, and everybody hates them and they all think it's scammy. That's what you see, because the successful people don't need to bother with that stuff. And that's where I want you to be. I mean, I feel like that's where I'm at. And I know a lot of the traders that I work with and talk with are at that same point. We're trying to gather all the data. We're trying to build up all the information. We're trying to make our own ideas. We drop what doesn't work. We keep what works. We move on. We keep going. And that's what it's all about. That passion for consistent growth, that passion for consistent improvement. And that's what I have for you. So I really like the other streamers in this room, but Andrew is the one I got to know the most so far. And the guy is just passionate. I mean, he told me, because I see patients a couple days a week here. So on Friday in the US, I have patients after my talk in the morning like this. And Andrew's in a different side of the world. He's in the UK. We got people in Australia. And he said, hey, whatever time you want to come on, just let me know. I'll get up. You know, doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m. The first day on Monday this week when he started, I was up at 4 a.m., even though I had to go to work and see some patients and just learning. And that's the kind of passion you want. I mean, when we get that premium room going, again, it's not going to cost you anything. When I'm talking to you one-on-one and we're learning what you trade and what you do, what you don't do, that kind of thing, I mean, I really take it personally. And that's probably why I'm a doctor seeing patients, because I don't sleep well if I give people bad advice. If I tell somebody, you know, I'm watching this trade, not going to tell you what to do, but I'm watching this, look for this, let's watch this together, and it goes bad and they lose money. I mean, I don't just click it off like a machine. I feel bad about that. I feel way worse about other people losing money than myself. So you got me on your side for this thing. I'm in it for the long term, and I have a passion for the markets. You can see, well, I don't know if we even know if we're putting all my other videos and stuff out there, but I have videos out there 9-10 years ago and websites and things. I mean, I've been around, and most people have not. Most of the people in the market who have things to sell or promote are gone. So you got to find people who have a passion for the markets, and you found it here with us. So tomorrow, day 4 out of this 10-day overview, I'm going to talk about trading as a business. And that's going to be at 9 a.m. Central Time here in the US. For those of you who haven't been on recently, the streams that are coming up, they're all set to your local time. So 9 a.m. tomorrow, I'll see you all again, and we can talk some more a little bit. I still haven't been looking at the darn chat. I'm sorry about that. But we'll get better at it. Like Andrew said, him and I are both new to the live streaming thing. I'm sort of a perfectionist with my videos. I like to edit things and think about it and come back and put things in and cut things out. And this is all sort of new for me. So we're just sort of speaking on a whim, but just know that we're here for you. And in this room, in the premium room, wherever it might be, we're here to make sure that you're doing the best you can. If you have questions, ask. I mean, I don't have all the answers. I don't think he has all the answers. I don't think these other traders have all the answers, but we can at least give you some feedback, make you feel better about your choices, and make sure you don't lose all your money and stress out. We want you to be profitable in the business. So that's all I have for now. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I'll be in on the chat here and there. I'm also going to be getting a little more active in the Tokyo session. I think Andrew popped in earlier today, just sort of randomly. That's what I'll be doing, and that's what we'll be doing in the premium room. Is we'll do maybe a market overview. Then we'll be popping in the chat, dropping some videos in, maybe around news events and things to really be on your side to help you out. So that's all I have for now. Have a great day. Happy trading. Thanks a lot.